Look at Sunrider taking it nice and easy, a smart move. Like a chess player contemplating the opening move, they're planning several steps ahead.
Spot on. They're mentally mapping each corner, each straight. It's not just about the car, it's about strategy and foresight.
Superman is on their first practice flying lap. There goes Sunrider, on their first dance with Feldbergrim. Every bend, every straight is a chance to learn, to adapt.
Yep, and it's about syncing with the car too. Making sure everything's in harmony. It's like tuning an instrument before a big concert.
Superman is not hanging about, straight into the thick of it on this first flying lap. They're getting a real taste of the WSC60 Porsche 910 6S capabilities.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the limits early on. You'll see them experimenting with braking points and turn-in speeds, all while keeping an eye on those tire temps.
With just 47 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. And away goes Sunrider, charging down Salzgrund like a bull at a gate. This lap's where they set the tone for the session.
Indeed, Rob. It's about laying down a marker, seeing how the car responds when they dial everything up to 11. They're testing the waters, but also setting their own benchmarks.
Richard Rossia is on the outlap, not just warming up the tyres, but also warming up their instincts, getting the racer's intuition dialed in.
True that. They're getting the feel of the track, the car, the conditions. It's all about setting the stage for what's to come.
You ever think about what's ticking inside a driver's noggin during these laps?
All the time. It's a mix of analyzing, strategizing, and adapting. Every corner, every straight is a puzzle, and they're trying to solve it at full speed.
Mate, these drivers aren't just burning rubber for the fun of it. They're chasing the ghost, that perfect lap that's always just out of reach.
Absolutely. Back in my racing days, I used to call it chasing the dragon. It's that feeling when you know there's still a little more in the tank, a fraction of a second to be found.
Dennis Schramm's first serious lap is in the books with a time of 4:09.254. Good effort, but I'm expecting them to really push the envelope in the next few laps.
Yeah, it's about building that momentum, Rob. Fine-tuning their approach with each turn, each lap, getting more out of the car and themselves.
Look at Sunrider go, they're really giving it some jandal now. The first flyer is always a bit of a reconnaissance mission, a mix of caution and raw pace.
You bet, Rob. They're mapping out the track, feeling out the grip levels, and getting a sense of how the car is performing today. It's a crucial lap for building confidence.
The Carl Hyper's on the outlap, getting a taste of the tarmac. It's like sniffing the cork before a good wine, first impressions matter.
Exactly. They're assessing the grip, the balance, the whole shebang. You can learn a lot in these quiet moments before the throttle really opens up.
Richard Rossier is out there, taking it slow and steady on the outlap. This lap is like the calm before the storm, a moment of zen before pushing the limits.
That's right. It's about understanding the track's personality today, a Euro. Each day, each lap can tell a different story, especially at a track like Feldbergring.
Lars Hamp is rolling out for the first sniff of the track. It's all about feeling the car, the tarmac, and getting the mind in the zone.
Absolutely, Rob. The out lap is like the opening chapter of a book. It sets the tone for the whole story. They'll be checking how the car's responding, getting a real feel for the conditions today at Feldbergring.
It's all about finding that sweet spot during these sessions, like tuning a didgeridoo, but way faster.
Haha, and a lot noisier. But you're right. In Indy, we fine-tune until it feels just right. Every lap here is a step towards perfection.
Ever heard the pit crew chat about wheel camber? Sounds like a dance move, but trust me, it's all car talk.
Haha, yeah, camber is the angle of the wheel relative to the road. A bit of negative camber, where the top of the tire leans inwards, can give more grip in the corners. But too much and you're looking at premature wear on the inside of the tire. It's a balancing act, and each track requires its own setting.
There's Mark Smith, gently nudging the beast as they head out. The out lap is where you whisper to the car, "Let's dance," before the real party starts.
You got that right. It's a gentle waltz before the full-on rock concert of the race. They're testing the waters, getting a feel for every bend and straight of Feldberger.
Dennis Schramm's first flyer is a solid start, clocking in at 8:04.076. They're getting a feel for the track, but there's room to shave off a few more seconds.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about finding those little tweaks, adjusting the line here, braking a tad later there. Every lap is a learning curve.
Look at Lars Hamp taking it nice and easy, a smart move. Like a chess player contemplating the opening move, they're planning several steps ahead.
Spot on. They're mentally mapping each corner, each straight. It's not just about the car, it's about strategy and foresight.
Superman posted 4:13.685 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Alright, Megasaurus 55 has put down a 6:18.622. It's a decent benchmark, but I reckon there's more juice to squeeze out of that WSC60 Chevron V8 FBA.
For sure, Rob. It's early days. They're just starting to sync up with the track. We'll likely see those times tumble as they dial in.
There goes Anton Stamov on their first dance with Feldbergring. Every bend, every straight is a chance to learn, to adapt.
Yep, and it's about syncing with the car too. Making sure everything's in harmony. It's like tuning an instrument before a big concert.
And there's Vikal Hyper, easing out onto Feldbergring. It's like the first step on a long hike, finding your footing before you hit full stride.
Right, and every racer knows this out lap is precious. It's their first handshake with the track today, feeling out its mood and temperament.
There are just over 35 minutes left in this practice session. Sunrider posted a 4:16.571 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Lars Hamp is on the outlap, not just warming up the tires, but also warming up their instincts, getting the racer's intuition dialed in.
True that. They're getting the feel of the track, the car, the conditions. It's all about setting the stage for what's to come.
Megasaurus 55 crosses the line with their first flyer, clocking a 18.622. They're getting to grips with Feldbergrim, feeling out its quirks and corners.
It's like the first round of a chess match, Rob. They're making their opening moves, setting up for the later, faster laps where they'll really show their hand.
Watch as Lars Hamp takes it nice and easy on this outlap. It's not just about warming up the tires, it's about getting into that mental pit lane, tuning into the race mindset.
For sure, Rob. They're calibrating everything, the brakes, the steering, the throttle response. It's a crucial part of laying down the groundwork for a successful practice session.
Megasaurus 55 has a best lap time of 6:18.622. Dennis Schramm has a best lap time of 4:09.254. There's the first flying lap for Sunrider, hitting 4:16.763. It's a start, but they'll be looking to iron out those kinks as they get more laps under their belt.
Right on, Rob. It's early in the session, so there's plenty of time to experiment and find those extra tenths of a second.
Oh yeah, these practices aren't just a walkabout in the park. It's here that races are often won or lost.
Absolutely. Back home in North Carolina, we emphasize the setup. A few tweaks during practice can lead to major gains on race day.
Now, here's a term some might not be familiar with: roll bar stiffness. Sounds technical, doesn't it?
It does, but in essence, it's about how the car reacts to lateral forces, especially during cornering. Adjusting the roll bar can change how the car behaves mid-corner. A softer setting can be more forgiving, but a stiffer one might give the driver a quicker response, albeit with less margin for error.
With just 29 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Megasaurus 55's first serious lap is in the books with a time of 8:55.838. Good effort, but I'm expecting them to really push the envelope in the next few laps.
Yeah, it's about building that momentum, Rob. Fine-tuning their approach with each turn, each lap, getting more out of the car and themselves.
Here we go, folks. The atmosphere is electric as the drivers prepare to unleash their machines on the track at Feldbergring for the qualifying session.
We're about to witness some serious heart as they battle it out for a chance at the front of the starting grid.
Megasaurus 55 is on their out lap.
It's all about finding that balance between staying calm and focused while also pushing the limits.
A solid qualifying performance by Superman, positioning them in 5th at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners. Incredible drive by Patrick Schwanz so far, earning him 8th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up? Impressive work from Anton Stamov, who has claimed 3rd on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position. Dennis Schramm has positioned themselves well in 5th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start.
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Dennis Schramm has done a fantastic job to claim 5th. The challenge now is to convert this opportunity into a strong race result.
Sunrider has secured a respectable 2nd in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance?
Spot on analysis, Rob. Sunrider has positioned themselves well in 2nd. It's now crucial for them to maintain their focus and defend their position in the upcoming race.
Currently in 8th, Patrick Schwanz has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position.
Absolutely, Rob. Patrick Schwanz has shown great potential to secure 8th. It's now a matter of channeling that momentum into a strong performance during the race.
There are just over 15 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 15. Richard Rossier has completed their outlap. Richard Rossier has completed their outlap. A solid performance from Sunrider as they currently hold position 2. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid. Sunrider has completed their outlap. There are just over 10 minutes. Superman has completed their outlap. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Patrick Schwanz has completed their outlap. It's an impressive showing by Superman, currently in 5th. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher?
I completely agree, Rob. Superman has positioned themselves impressively in 5th. However, it's crucial for them to keep pushing to potentially improve their starting position.
What a performance from Sunrider. They currently occupy 4th on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favourable starting spot? Sunrider has just completed the lap in 4:17.636. Their best lap so far is 4:17.636. Putting them in P4, will they be able to hold on to that spot? Impressive display by Joe Ergue, currently sitting in position 7. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position.
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. Your view's current position of 7th is a testament to their skill and determination. Now, they must stay sharp to make the most of this opportunity.
Joe Ergu has completed their outlap. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Stuart Boyle has completed their first flying lap in 4:29.878. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Mark Smith has just completed a lap in 4:11.979. Let's see if they can improve on the time further. A strong showing from Joe Ergu as they currently sit in 8th. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve.
You're absolutely right, Rob. Your view's current position of 8th reflects their strong qualifying performance. Now, they'll need to strategize and capitalize on this starting position.
Tough qualifying session for Patrick Schwanz. They're currently mired in 13th position, which is a setback for their ambitions. However, they have the resilience and determination to learn from their mistakes and fight back in the race.
I share your thoughts, Rob. Patrick Schwanz is facing a setback in this qualifying session, but they have the resilience to bounce back. They need to stay positive, work closely with their engineers, and find the optimal strategy to make progress.
Superman has put in a great effort and currently holds 8th. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position?
Great analysis, Rob. Superman has shown excellent pace to secure 8th. Now, the focus shifts to whether they can use their track position to their advantage in the race.
Superman has just completed that lap in 4:32.573. Their best lap so far is 4:32.573. Putting them in P9, will they be able to hold on to that spot? A solid qualifying performance by Patrick Schwanz has completed their outlap. Incredible drive by Lars Hamp so far, earning him 5th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up?
You're spot on, Rob. Lars Hamp's current position of 5th is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
Superman has positioned themselves well in 10th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start. There's a real buzz in the air as Superman secures 4th.
Right you are, Rob. They've put themselves in a solid spot, but they can't let up now. Staying smooth and focused is key to shaving off those extra fractions.
And there goes Patrick Schwanz, currently in position 8. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
Couldn't agree more, Rob. Patrick Schwanz has positioned themselves impressively in 8th. Now, they need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Feldbergring as we're getting ready to kick things off. Starting from pole position is a dream come true for Dennis Schramm.
But they will have to keep their foot on the gas in order to stay there.
Taking the second spot is Richard Rossier. Securing the third place is Mark Smith. As the green flag drops, keep an eye on Superman starting in fourth position.
Another good start for the Swedish driver.
Our fifth place starter, Sunrider, is poised to make a move towards the front. On the sixth grid slot we have Lars Ham. In the middle of the pack, we have Megasaurus 55 starting from the seventh position on the grid.
Megasaurus 55 is going to show us something special, I'm sure of it.
Patrick Schwanz is lining up 8th. Our ninth place starter, Joe Ergu, is a driver who knows how to make up ground on the track.
They've got the heart of a lion, and they won't back down from a challenge.
The 10th starting position belongs to Stuart Boyle, who will be looking to make up ground early on. Anton Stamov may have a bit of work to do starting from 11th on the grid. Bogan Cromulence is in a solid position starting from 12th on the grid. Mikhail Hyper has qualified 13th.
But they're going to have to be aggressive if they want to make up ground on the leaders.
The green flag is waving and we're off to the races. Let's see who can get out in front and establish an early lead.
This here's a wild bronco ride from the get-go. Those drivers best hang on tight, lest they get thrown into the dust.
The pressure is on whilst the field is bunched. Who can keep their cool and take advantage?
You know, sometimes the best strategy is to hold your cards close to your chest. Dennis Schramm's sitting right there at 1, just watching the field unfold.
The drivers are jockeying for position. Patrick Schwanz will be looking to get off to a good start and consolidate their position.
I'm looking forward to this one run, and we'll see a return to form for Patrick Schwanz in this outing in Germany.
I think passing is going to be difficult today here at Feldbergring, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on.
There are a few drivers with a point to prove, and a few with some grudges to bear. Will we see a clean race today?
These early salvos will shape the outcome of this race.
I for one am really excited, Rob. The rivalry between Bogan Cromulence and Mikhail Hyper has been building before the race, and this is where scores are settled.
It's not looking good for Bogan Cromulence. They are still behind Mikhail Hyper and the gap is increasing. They are going to need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. Hal, what's the impact of tyre degradation on race strategy? How does it affect the driver's approach to the race?
Tire degradation plays a crucial role in race strategy, Rob. Teams and drivers have to consider the optimal time to pit for fresh tires and adjust their race pace to balance speed with tire conservation. It adds another layer of complexity to the racing challenge.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
Now, ain't that something? Sunrider's car is humming like a sweet Carolina tune. He's looking to take Superman for a spin around the dance floor at Feldbergring.
Things are getting spicy as Mark Smith is breathing down Superman's neck. The gap? Mate, you couldn't slide a credit card between them. It's true, Mark Smith's taken a bit of a tumble down the order to 5th. Must have missed the memo. As we enjoy. Hold on a moment, looks like Mark Smith is coming into the pits early. Now is that to serve a penalty, or have they picked up some damage during the start? From the grandstands to the pit lane, all eyes are on the action. Amongst the front runners, Mark Smith is showing prowess in first.
Definitely Rob, but they can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep pushing hard to stay in the game.
The pressure is on for Patrick Schwanz as they try to catch up to Joe Ergu. Someone should tell Joe Ergu this ain't a Sunday drive. Patrick Schwanz is tearing up the track. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Joe Ergu, who is currently in P9. But Patrick Schwanz is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Joe Ergu. Look at this, Stuart Boyle is practically drafting off Bogan Cromulence. With the gap this small, Sandplaken is going to be a real test. It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. An impressive showing from Bogan Cromulence, who has gained positions and left Vakal Hyper in the dust. A twist in our tail. Bogan Cromulence is slipping more than a bar of soap in a bath, now at 12th.
Definitely, but Bogan...
Hold on a moment, looks like Superman forgot they weren't at Bondi Beach, taking a dive like that.
Hot diggity. If Superman had a banjo, they'd be strumming a sad tune right about now.
Oh, this is getting intense. Anton Stamov is just a few car lengths behind Joe Ergu.
Well, butter my biscuit. With a gap just shy of a second, Anton Stamov's car is dialed in. He's looking to reel your youth from the straits of Feldbergring.
Looks like Anton Stamov remembered to twist that anti-roll bar, giving him better cornering. If they get any closer to Joe Ergu, they'll be seeing what they had for brekkie. In your experience, Hal, what was the most challenging aspect of maintaining concentration during a race?
The most challenging aspect, Rob, was managing the various inputs and distractions during the race, from radio communication with the team to monitoring car performance and race strategy. It's a delicate balancing act that requires immense mental discipline.
The crowd is on tenterhooks as Stuart Boyle in 12th chases after Bogan Cromulence. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Stuart Boyle find a way to catch up? Well, don't come the raw prawn. Stuart Boyle's giving it some stick, pulling Bogan Cromulence into a mere 0.3 seconds.
Now this is what I call some high-octane excitement. Both drivers pedal down, looking to grab the brass rail.
Anton Stamov is on a mission, chasing Joe Ergu, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
The gap between them is just over 0.7 seconds. Who will have the speed and skill to come out on top?
What do you think, Hal? Are there any specific factors that could lead to a driver losing concentration during a race?
There are several factors, Rob. Fatigue, stress, changing track conditions, or even issues within the team can all contribute to a lapse in concentration. It's essential for drivers to stay mentally resilient and adapt to these challenges.
Stuart Boyle's more lost out there than I was after a night at the Gold Coast. And at least I woke up with a kebab in hand.
Y'all remember the tortoise and the hare? Well, Stuart Boyle's neither. More like a snail with commitment issues.
Fair dinkum, Stuart Boyle's finding those aerodynamic sweet spots. Could be adjusting that front wing angle to cut through the air like a hot knife through butter. With every twist and turn, Anton Stamov is shadowing Joe Ergu. Wait, hold on a moment. I don't think that's the fastest way around Feldbergring. Cricky, Anton Stamov's got more ground to cover than I do at the family barbecue when Auntie Sharon's had one too many. Good luck, mate. The tension is palpable. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown?
Rob, last time I saw your you this riled up, there were sparks flying off the track. Get ready for a showdown.
Breaking development, oi.
Is it just me or?
Nah, mate, Bogan Cromulence really just took the scenic route through the outback of Feldbergring. Crikey. Look at that, Patrick Schwanz is hot on the tail of Joe Ergu. Hollywood couldn't script this better. Superman's shadowing Megasaurus 55, waiting for the slightest misstep. Fair dinkum, Superman is getting a wriggle on. The gap to Megasaurus 55 is now down to a whisker of 0.4 seconds. A great pass for Superman as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Megasaurus 55 has lost ground.
This race is heating up faster than a Barbie in summer. Superman's got that winning glint.
You know, Megasaurus 55 reminds me of my dating life. Starts with promise, ends up tailing behind everyone else.
It's going to be tough for Megasaurus 55, as Superman seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Megasaurus 55 pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
Blimey, Superman is so far back, they might as well stop for a beer at the pub. If they spot my ex there, tell them to drive faster.
Well, butter my biscuit. Superman's hanging back like they're waiting for an inheritance. But ain't nobody dying up front.
It's starting to look like we might get a battle between Superman and Megasaurus 55. Anyone who says that Assetto Corsa Friends is not the best racing club on the planet is clearly insane. The quality of driving we're seeing out there on the track is absolutely phenomenal.
I couldn't agree more. It's like these drivers were born to race. They're weaving in and out of traffic, taking corners at unbelievable speeds, and making it all look effortless. It's clear that they've put in the time and effort to hone their skills.
Everyone's on the edge of their seats, or in my case, on the edge of spilling my coffee. Superman is getting closer to Megasaurus 55, and I'm getting closer to needing a towel. The race has its rhythm, and right now, Dennis Schramm is dancing to its beat at second. Blimey, Joe Ergu's just thrown another shrimp on the barbie of mishaps. This one's burned. Well, butter my bread and call it a sandwich. Superman's not letting Megasaurus 55 have all the fairy bread at this party. Watch out, Megasaurus 55, he's coming for your Tim Tams, mate. Bloody hell, Superman's tearing up the tarmac and just snatched 6th. Makes you want to crack a cold one in celebration.
Shoot, Superman's got more moves than a dance floor on a Saturday night. Look at them shimmy into 6th.
Looks like Vikal Hyper's playing in the dirt. Took me back to when I tried rallying in my mum's old sedan. Good times, expensive repairs.
Lord have mercy. Vikal Hyper must have seen a ghost and thought they spotted Bigfoot. That was one wild turn.
If I had $1 for every time Megasaurus 55 closed a gap like this, I'd have enough for a pint at the local. Get ready, Soup, hold on a second. Well, Lars Hamps decided to give the local wildlife a closer look. I hope the drop bears didn't get to them.
Well, butter my biscuit. Lars Hampa just did the hokey pokey right in the middle of the race.
As the laps wind down, the hunt intensifies. Megasaurus 55 is lurking, ready to unleash an overtaking masterclass on Superman.
In this high-speed game of chess, it's all about strategy. Who will make the next move?
Sorry to cut in here, things don't look to be going Dennis Schramm's way, as already they are into the pits. There's a storm brewing, and it's got Patrick Schwanz's name on it. Anton Stamov, batten down the hatches, it's coming for you. It's not coming up roses for Patrick Schwanz. They're trailing Anton Stamov and the gap's on the rise. They don't seem to have a response. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Hold on a second, and Dennis Schramm in 6th is coming into the pits, and that might be to serve a penalty.
That's going to be a big disappointment for them at this stage. Let's hope the team can regroup and make some sort of recovery.
Would ya look at that gap? Megasaurus 55's got a better chance of finding a sober Aussie on Australia Day. But hey, we love an underdog. Go get them, Tiger.
Hoo boy, Megasaurus 55 needs to kick it into high gear. Right now, they're slower than molasses in January or my cousin Earl trying to solve a crossword.
Megasaurus 55 appears to be losing ground on Superman. They will need to pick up the pace a bit as they head into Salisbury and see if they can get a good exit and gain some ground. It looks like Vikal Hyper is pushing hard to catch up to Stuart Boyle. The gap is over a second, but Vikal Hyper is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Stuart Boyle? Looks like Anton Stamov's car has turned into a mobile, no vacancy sign, and Patrick Schwanz is looking for a room. You won't find cheap rent here, mate.
Remember those old Western standoffs? Well, Anton Stamov's playing the cowboy today, and Patrick Schwanz is trying to outdraw them.
You wouldn't read about it. Anton Stamov is putting a fair whack of space between them and Patrick Schwanz.
Yeah, Rob, Anton Stamov's really hitting the gas. But can Patrick Schwanz kick it into high gear and catch up? Yes, it's clear that Anton Stamov is in control out there. They're making it very difficult for Patrick Schwanz to catch up.
Like a scene from a thriller, Patrick Schwanz is on Anton Stamov's tail, hungry for that spot.
This isn't just racing, it's art in motion. And Patrick Schwanz is painting a masterpiece in pursuit.
This is what high-octane racing looks like. Sunrider is breathing down the neck of Richard Rossier, not giving him any room to relax. Well, I'd raise a toast to that move. Cheers to Sunrider for nabbing first.
Impressive. Sunrider is really showing their skill and determination out there.
Superman is running fourth. They are trying to catch Lars Ham.
The rubber's burning, the crowd's yearning, and Superman's engine is churning to get past Lars Hamlin.
Great driving from Superman, who has just gained a place and moved up to third. This is a thrilling battle as Richard Rossier edges closer to Sunrider in their fight for P1. Richard Rossier is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 0.98 seconds down.
Can Richard Rossier refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they're capable of?
Tell me, mate, ever tried doing a burnout in a ute? It's bloody bonza.
A ute? You guys and your funny names. That's just a pickup, right? Trust me, I've burned more rubber than you've had shrimp on the Barbie.
The gap between Lars Hamp in fourth and Superman remains over a second, but Lars Hamp is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 102 minutes?
Nail-biting indeed. I've already chewed through half of mine. And while Lars Hampa is going for gold, I'll be going for a manicure.
Lars Hamp is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Superman at the moment. Looks like we've had a few incidents out there.
Someone forgot to take their driving lessons. They're making more U-turns than a confused tourist.
Hilarious. I think they might need to call their GPS for directions. Maybe it can help them navigate the track. Tell ya what, Richard Rossier's trailing harder than my belt after Christmas dinner. Reckon he's got a plan up his sleeve, or is he just here for the sausage sizzle?
I agree. Richard Rosier is putting in the effort. Sort of like me at karaoke night. Not sure about the results, but full points for enthusiasm.
It seems like Richard Rossier is pushing. They are on for recording their best lap so far this race.
Can Richard Rosier keep it together?
You know, Hal, during a long race like this, how easy is it for a driver to experience a lapse in concentration?
It can be quite easy, Rob. With so many factors to consider and the intense focus required, even the most experienced drivers can have a momentary lapse. That's why mental training and staying in the zone are so important.
Looks like Richard Rossier is chasing Sunrider harder than a croc chasing a tourist who's lost their thongs. It's a bit of a long shot, but we all remember that one time at the pub, right? It seems like Richard Rossier is struggling. Their last lap time wasn't as good as Sunrider's. This chase is as intense as a cricket match during the Ashes.
Cricket? I thought that was just a noisy bug. But seriously, it's like Game 7 of the World Series here. That driver is really pushing the limits. They're riding the curves and pushing the car to the ragged edge, looking for every last ounce of speed. Could be they're pushing too hard though, and that's only going to slow them down.
Seems like Anton Stamoff is getting in range of Patrick Schwanz. It's a dynamic landscape out there. Anton Stamoff's shift to 9th is testament to that. The adrenaline is pumping as Dennis Schramm gets within striking distance of Megasaurus 55 in their race for 5th.
That's right. Dennis Schramm is determined to...
Wait, Struth, Dennis Schramm's having a real dog's breakfast of a moment. Blimey, Joe Ergu's determination reminds me of a kangaroo in a hopping contest.
Well, over here in the States, it's more like a squirrel chasing down its last nut before winter. Either way, it's entertaining to watch. In the theater of speed, this is the climax. Every move is a headline, every overtake a potential plot twist.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. Anton Stamoff is proper nipping at Joe Ergu's heels. Are they thinking of making a lunge? Only time will tell. Richard Rossier's in an exciting position at second. They've been maintaining pace for a few laps now, and with the leader just within a whisper's distance, things are heating up.
Absolutely. I think you would say it's tighter than a kangaroo in a sleeping bag up there. But yet every little decision now is crucial. One slip from the leader and our champ in second might just steal that top spot.
Watching Joe Ergu try to close the gap on Patrick Schwanz is like watching someone try to catch an ice cream truck on foot. Hope they've got good shoes.
Well, butter me up and put me on a biscuit. Yorgu's got a mountain to climb. But knowing Yorgu, that's just the kind of challenge they like. Like trying to square dance in a roundhouse.
It looks like Patrick Schwanz is pulling away from Joe Ergu. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through Siegfried Street. Looks like Dennis Schramm is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control. The stopwatch doesn't lie, and the shrinking gap is telling a tale of a hunter closing in on its prize.
It seems like Dennis Schramm is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Can Dennis Schramm refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they're capable of?
Aussies love a good underdog story. Any dark horses you're keeping an eye on for this race?
Well, every rodeo has its wild card. I've got a couple names in mind, but I'll keep them close to the vest for now.
This is like the state of origin for Sunrider, going full tilt, gunning for the top, and not holding back.
And on my end, it's the Super Bowl vibes all over. Inches away from glory, and every move counts. Hold on to your hats, folks. This is racing at its finest.
Hold on to your hats. Dennis Schramm is gunning for Lars Ham. Reckon we might see some cheeky moves on the next bend? You ever see a croc stalking its prey? That's the energy Sunrider's bringing right now, ready to strike when the moment's right.
Kinda reminds me of a linebacker waiting for that perfect moment to make a game-changing tackle. The anticipation is intense, and Sunrider's not letting up.
Oh, talk about a tango on tarmac. Dennis Schramm is dancing closer and closer to Lars Ham. You can feel the tension as they approach Teufel Squartier. Blimey, Dennis Schramm's shifted gears and the results are clear. Cruising up to fourth just like that. Sunrider is locked in, mate. It's like watching a kangaroo chasing down the last bit of green in the outback. Every move is calculated, every turn precise.
You said it, Rob. Over here, it'd be like a quarterback eyeing that end zone in the final seconds. Sunrider is hungry for that top spot, and you can feel it.
Patrick Schwanz wants to find a way round Joe Erbu. Patrick Schwanz and Joe Erbu have a gap between them that's growing like Jack's beanstalk. We're talking 0.7 seconds now. Richard Rossier is placed first at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Sunrider, who is 1.8 seconds behind. Bloody ripper, Richard Rossier's just made Sunrider look like they're on a Sunday drive with that scorcher of a lap.
Hold on to your hats, folks. Richard Rossier is turning this race into a barn burner. Sunrider's gotta dig deep now.
As a former racing driver, how challenging was it to adapt your driving style to account for tire degradation throughout a race?
It was a constant challenge, Rob. Tire degradation can change the car's balance and handling, so drivers need to be versatile and adaptable. It requires continuous adjustments to driving techniques and a keen understanding.
Sorry to interrupt here, but, well, if it isn't Stuart Boyle, the wild wallaby of the track, hopping right off the tarmac.
Sweet cornbread. Stuart Boyle must have thought there's a Walmart sale off the track the way they went off.
As Patrick Schwanz trails Joe Erbu, it's a bit reminiscent of my cat chasing a laser point. Determined, but always just a tad behind.
Just like my attempt at barbecue last summer, Patrick Schwanz is burning time but ain't getting any hotter.
Blimey, Anton Stamoff is farther back than my hairline. But you know what they say about Aussies? Never say die. Unless it's a spider. Then just run.
Look, Anton Stamov's pace is a lot like my dance moves. Good intentions, questionable execution.
Anton Stamov's giving it a red-hot go, but can't seem to muster the pace to keep up with Patrick Schwanz. It's like chasing a roux on a motorbike. Every gear shift, every pedal push, Sunrider's got one goal in mind, capturing Richard Rossier's spot. Blimey, Patrick Schwanzer's more eager to catch Joe Ergue than a bloke at the bar at last call. Hope he's got the stamina for this chase. In a race where seconds count, Sunrider is counting on less of them between themselves and Richard Rossier. Much like I'm counting on less seconds until lunchtime. Gee whiz, Sunrider's getting some solid torque out of those corners. They must have figured out the perfect throttle control while trail braking. The gap between Superman and Dennis Schramm is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Superman to even allow Dennis Schramm to get a look in. Good news for Dennis Schramm, the gap to Superman has decreased. It's now down to 5.8 seconds.
Now this is what we call real racing. It's anyone's race, wide open as a Carolina sky. Who's gonna step up and take us to victory lane?
Oi, Patrick Schwanz is on Joe Ergue like a drop bear on an unsuspecting tourist.
Drop bear? Had to Google that one. But yeah, here it's like a linebacker on a quarterback sack. I've seen molasses move faster than this. Just kidding. But Patrick Schwanz is surely making Ergue feel the heat. It's a southern summer showdown out here.
Blimey, Patrick Schwanzer's cranking up the downforce, making every newton of force count. That gap's shrinking faster than my wallet at the pub. Tactics are clearly going to play an important part in this race.
They are gonna need to look after their tires and will want to keep something in them for the crucial latter stages, as their tires wear and fuel levels deplete in the handling changes.
And don't forget the track grip increases as more rubber gets laid down.
Indeed, the conditions are constantly changing and the drivers need to adapt, otherwise it can cost crucial time and jeopardize their position.
The gap between Patrick Schwanz and Joe Ergue is razor thin as they vie for 7th in this nail-biting contest.
It's a battle for position as Patrick Schwanz tries to make a move on Ergue. This is what racing is all about.
Well, Patrick Schwanz, if you're looking for a way past, you'll need a please and thank you, and a slab of beer for Joe Ergue. It's happy hour, and they're not giving an inch.
A few lengths might not sound like much, but in racing, that's like dancing on the edge of a razor blade. Ergue's footwork is top-notch today.
If Anton Stamov goes any slower, they'll join me in my failed dreams collection. Front row seats available. Stone the crows. Anton Stamov's managed to trim that gap with Patrick Schwanz, eh? Must be the slipstream effect on this straight. Or maybe they've put down that beer.
Just what Anton Stamov needed, like sweet tea on a hot day. Can't let Patrick Schwanz out of sight for too long.
I've seen kangaroos jump less than the sparks between Patrick Schwanz and Joe Ergue. It's almost like a Saturday night date, but with a lot more rubber burning. Patrick Schwanz seems to be losing the plot with Joe Ergue. They'll need to buck up their ideas as they dive into Walesburg and aim for a ripper exit to gain some ground. not just about the leaders today, right? Even the tailenders. They're like hungry dingo pups fighting over a bone. Love the spirit.
Spot on. Every second is gold, and even a hiccup, a tiny one, can make them tumble. Assetto Corsa, friends, where the magic happens. Although, between us, what's a hiccup for an AI? And just like in any great drama, Richard Rosier is the lead actor right now, captivating us all from the first.
It's the classic cat and mouse game, but instead of cheese, the prize is a racing position. Can Patrick Schwanz steal it from Joe Ergu? Patrick Schwanz is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 3.34 seconds down. Lars Hamp is owning the tarmac, confidently owning the 5th spot. No worries for Lars Hamp, who's leaving Megasaurus 55 for dust, as though they're a parched bloke chasing the beer van. You ever miss the roar of engines, Hal?
Every single day, Rob. But we've got the next best thing. Dissecting every nuance of these races and sharing our digital wisdom with the world.
Tell ya what, Patrick Schwanz's got more guts than a croc in a boxing ring. Closing the gap and breathing down the neck of Joe Ergu. Hope Joe Ergu brought the aeroguard, cause he's about to get bitten.
The gap between them is now just over 0.5 seconds. Who will come out on top?
Crikey, Patrick Schwanz is losing touch with Joe Ergu quicker than a kangaroo on a trampoline. Stuart Boyle's drifting so far back, it's like looking in the mirror after a decade-long pub binge. Time's not been kind, mate.
My mama used to say, you can't shine if you don't try. Guess Stuart Boyle missed that lesson. Just like my pie-making class.
Remember when we thought Stuart Boyle had peaked? Think again, they're harnessing every bit of downforce and it's making Anton Stamov's mirrors awfully busy.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
I'm curious, Hal, can you tell us about any pre-race rituals you had when you were racing?
Of course, Rob. Before every race, I would listen to a specific playlist of songs to help me get in the zone. I also had a lucky pair of socks that I would wear during races. It may sound silly, but those little rituals help me feel prepared and focused.
This isn't just racing, it's a duel. Watch as Patrick Schwanz zeroes in on Joe Ergu, blade sharpened and ready. I've made some questionable life decisions, but trailing over 2 seconds behind? Even I'm not that self-sabotaging. Mate, I've always thought choosing a tyre compound is a bit like choosing your favourite Aussie beer. Do you go for something robust that can last, or something that gives a quick hit but might wear out fast?
Haha. Well, I reckon it's more like our North Carolina barbecue sauces. Some like it sweet and long-lasting, others prefer that quick tangy kick. But I'll tell ya, getting it wrong is like biting into a pepper when you're expecting a blueberry.
There's no escape now. Patrick Schwanz is breathing fire and has locked onto Joe Ergu's tail.
It's a pressure cooker out there. Every second shaved off means Patrick Schwanz is a step closer to tasting victory.
The track conditions are looking good here today. The drivers will be able to push the cars to the limit and it's going to make for some exciting racing. Patrick Schwanz is so far off pace, they might be better off in a hearse. At least then someone would be pushing from behind.
Well, shoot, if Patrick Schwanz was any more laid back, they'd be horizontal. Reckon they're daydreaming of those cheerleaders again?
The track tells a tale of speed, strategy, and skill. Today, it narrates Superman's journey in third. The drivers are getting faster as they settle into their cars and get used to the conditions, with Superman just putting in their best lap so far with a 4 minutes.
Things are hotting up now, Rob, and it'll be interesting to see if they can improve further on that time.
Hold on to your stubbies. Patrick Schwann, sorry to interrupt here, but, oh mate, Megasaurus55's impersonating a lost tourist. Did someone forget to tell them it's a race, not a bushwalk? It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Patrick Schwanz trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Joe Ergu. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Patrick Schwanz close in enough to mount a challenge? The best laid plans of mice and men are hell, but it's certainly not going to plan for Patrick Schwanz right now, as they are struggling to keep up with Joe Ergu. You know, Hal, I've always wondered, how do racing drivers stay so cool and collected under such immense pressure?
Well, Rob, it comes down to mental strength and training. Drivers often work with sports psychologists and practice techniques like meditation and visualization to help them stay calm and focused during high-pressure situations.
The race is heating up as Patrick Schwanz in 8th closes in on Joe Ergu. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Patrick Schwanz in 8th determined to catch up. But we know Ergu isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Patrick Schwanz is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
Some say it's about the journey, not the destination, but Vikal Hyper seems pretty intent on that 11th spot.
They say racing's a game of nerves, and Vikal Hyper's surely holding theirs, keeping that 11th spot warm.
It's as if Sunrider is navigating the vast, cryptic verses of Banjo Patterson, aiming for a poetic conclusion but caught in the mesmerizing cadence.
Down here, it's like they're trying to strum a ballad with an out-of-tune banjo, but the last note can still ring true. Lukey here, I've seen some wild turns in my time, and just when you think it's all said and done, old Lady Luck might just wink your way. So don't count out Sunrider just yet.
It's not looking good for Sunrider. They are still behind Richard Rossier, and the gap is increasing. They are gonna need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. Remember when Patrick Schwanz was on the pace? Neither do I, kinda like my recollection of last Friday night.
I've seen funeral processions move faster than Patrick Schwanz right now. Come to think of it, at least they've got a destination in mind.
The gap between Patrick Schwanz and Joe Ergu is growing. It's now up to 1.5 seconds. Tell ya what, Dennis Schramm is trailing like my mate Dave after a bender. Hope there's no random testing today. It looks like Dennis Schramm is making a move. The gap to Superman is now down to 1.3 seconds. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Megasaurus55 will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. Phew, talk about foreplay. Dennis Schramm and Superman are really teasing us here. I haven't seen this much anticipation since my first date. Dennis Schramm is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Superman to 0.7 seconds.
This ain't Dennis Schramm's first rodeo. They're optimizing their racing line, reducing understeer. If Superman ain't nervous, they sure ought to be.
You reckon Patrick Schwanz saw a spider in the cockpit? Because they're running away from the front like it's Huntsman Central.
Indeed, the tension is palpable as Patrick Schwanz tries to reel in Jorg Yu. But Jorg Yu is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Can Patrick Schwanz find some extra pace to bring the fight to Jorg Yu?
I tell you what, Patrick Schwanz has got more problems than a maths book right now. Jorg Yu is leaving him in a cloud of dust. It's a battle of wills out there, with Dennis Schramm trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Superman. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race?
When you talk about experience, it's like saying I've experienced my mother-in-law's cooking. It doesn't mean I want to do it again. But Dennis Schramm, keep pushing.
The gap between Dennis Schramm and Superman is expanding faster than a bull's waistline. It's now a whopping 1.1 seconds. The battle for 7 is heating up as Patrick Schwanz tries to catch Jorg Yu in P7.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Patrick Schwanz is really walking that tightrope.
Things are looking as crook as Rookwood for Patrick Schwanz, lagging behind Jorg Yu and the gap stretching out like a long country road. They'll need to find some extra grunt to flip this situation. Hey, Hal, you've had your fair share of races with little action. How did you handle the situation back in your racing days?
Well, Rob, patience is key in such scenarios. You need to stay focused and be ready to seize any opportunity that comes your way. It's like a game of chess at 200 miles per hour.
The chase music's playing in Patrick Schwanz's head as they reel in Jorg Yu, moment by nail-biting moment. Patrick Schwanz is on the back foot here, struggling to keep up with Jorg Yu like a dingo after a roadrunner. Fair dinkum, I reckon Superman's got that thirsty look in his eyes. Wants to share a cold one with Dennis Schramm in the front. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Anton Stamov, who is currently in P9. But Patrick Schwanz is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Anton Stamov.
Gee whiz, Anton Stamov is so far back, I'm half expecting to see tumbleweeds blow past. Maybe a vulture or two.
The crowd is on tenterhooks as Anton Stamov in 9th chases after Patrick Schwanz. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Anton Stamov find a way to catch up?
Lordy, it's like Anton Stamov's driving with a boot full of moonshine. I haven't seen a gap that big since Uncle Jeb lost his front teeth.
Oof, if Sunrider was a kangaroo, they'd be roadkill by now. Come on, mate, put some pep in that step. The gap between Sunrider and Richard Rossier is widening. It's now up to 13.4 seconds. Good on ya, Megasaurus 55. Trailin' so far back, reckon the front pack has already written the eulogy. Look at the way the drivers are hugging those corners, it's like they're on rails.
Speaking of rails, did you know that the first racetrack was built on a railway in 1896? I bet those drivers were chugging along.
Haha, I bet they were. But things have come a long way since then, haven't they?
Definitely, it's amazing to think about the technology that goes into these cars now. I mean, they have more computing power than some countries.
It may seem like Superman is far behind, but Dennis Schramm can't afford to let their guard down. One mistake could give Superman an opening to catch up. Dennis Schramm's lead over Superman is shrinking quicker than a cheap shirt in a hot wash. We're down to 1.7 seconds. During your racing career, Hal, did you have any specific techniques to regain concentration if you felt it slipping?
Yes, Rob, I had a few techniques. One was to take a couple of deep breaths and briefly reset my focus. Another was to use a specific keyword or phrase as a mental trigger to refocus my mind on the task at hand.
Even though Superman is a fair way behind Dennis Schramm, they can't afford to let their guard down. Dennis Schramm is still vulnerable to mistakes. The rumble of the engine, the scent of the rubber, and Lars Ham comfortably sitting at fifth. Things are heating up as Patrick Schwanz closes in on Joe Ergu. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. It's like David versus Goliath out there. Patrick Schwanz just slung a stone and gained ground, while Joe Ergu is left searching for footing.
Where there's a will, there's a relative.
Everyone's on the edge of their seats. Or in my case, on the edge of spilling my coffee. Anton Stamov is getting closer to Joe Ergu, and I'm getting closer to needing a towel. Anton Stamov and Joe Ergu have a gap between them that's growing like Jack's beanstalk. We're talking 54.2 seconds now. The intensity is off the charts as Joe Ergu now is Patrick Schwanz, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
Honestly, Rob, with this chase, I'm half expecting to see some sneaky dive bombs in the next few laps. Popcorn ready?
Blimey, Superman is so far back, they might as well stop for a beer at the pub. If they spot my ex there, tell them to drive faster. Superman is pitting. Would ya look at that gap? Joe Ergu's got a better chance of finding a sober Aussie on Australia Day. But hey, we love an underdog. Go get them, Tiger. Joe Ergu's giving it a red-hot go, but can't seem to muster the pace to keep up with Patrick Schwanz. It's like chasing a roo on a motorbike. The gap between Anton Stamov in 9th and Joe Ergu remains over a second, but Anton Stamov is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 67 minutes? Breaking update, Superman is in the pits. By the looks of it, Superman in 6th is keen to throw another shrimp on the barbie and crank up the heat on Megasaurus 55. Hold on to your stomachs.
Shoot, Rob, you ever seen a hound chase a rabbit? That's Superman for young, trying to close in on Megasaurus 55 with every twist and turn of Feldberger.
Looks like Dennis Schramm is trying to chase down Sunrider, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results. It's not going to plan for Dennis Schramm. They are still behind Sunrider and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. It's like watching a cheetah chase its prey. Superman's got Megasaurus 55 in their crosshairs. Bloody oath, Superman is flat out like a lizard drinking, gnawing into the gap to Megasaurus 55 down to a scant 0.5 seconds. Cricky, the Carl Hyper's got more ground to cover than I do at the family barbecue when Auntie Sharon's had one too many. Good luck, mate. Now isn't this a show? Superman's gotten the bit between their teeth, and they're reeling in Megasaurus 55. Look at him weave and bob through Kleiner Feldberg, folks. Whoa there. Joe Yu is sticking to Patrick Schwanz like glue. You reckon Patrick Schwanz is feeling the pressure? 'Cause I sure would. No room for error here. Superman is breathing down the neck of Megasaurus 55, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move.
Should things go south between Superman and Megasaurus 55, you might witness a high-speed game of bumper cars, but trust me, it's way less fun with real race cars.
It seems like Superman is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Can Superman refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they're capable of?
What a move. Superman has moved up to 5th. Superman wants to get into Megasaurus 55 slipstream. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Superman gaining places and Megasaurus 55 losing them.
I've always said, it's not the car, it's the driver. And Superman's proving that point right.
Tough break for Superman, who has just lost a position. Watching Patrick Schwanz try to close the gap on Joe Yu is like watching someone try to catch an ice cream truck on foot. Hope they've got good shoes. Mate, Patrick Schwanz is creeping up on Joe Yu like a dingo on a picnic. Must have tweaked that brake bias a touch to the rear.
Exactly what Patrick Schwanz needed. They can't afford to lose any more ground toward you.
A solid performance from Lars Ham, who is holding down 4th.
Yes, but they have to keep their focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
Things are starting to get tense as Superman manages to close the gap to Lars Ham. It's now down to 3.6 seconds. Ladies and gents, we've got ourselves a high-speed pursuit. Megasaurus 55 is stalking Superman's every move. While Superman is not under immediate threat from Megasaurus 55, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position. Well, butter my biscuit, pal. Superman's dropped a... Hold on a moment, Patrick Schwanz has pulled into the pits. As rubber meets road, and strategy meets luck, Patrick Schwanz is etching their story in 8th. It might be early days, but Anton Stamov is already casting a shadow from the 9th. Anton Stamov is on a charge. Their split time shows they have upped their pace.
Can Anton Stamov keep it together?
As the sun... Wait, it looks like Joe Ergu has been called into the pits. Breaking alert, Patrick Schwanz has decided to pit. Looks like Joe Ergu's strategy might just be to let the rest of them die of old age. It's a waiting game now. Who needs speed dating when you've got Anton Stamov chasing down Joe Ergu this eagerly? Move over Tinder, this is how you swipe right at 100 miles per hour.
Sweet tea and biscuits. Anton Stamov's got the pedal to the metal, chasing down Ergu like it's the last slice of pie at a family reunion.
Lars Hamp's more lost out there than I was after a night at the Gold Coast. And at least I woke up with a kebab in hand. How do racing drivers, like yourself back in the day, pal, train themselves to maintain concentration for long periods of time?
Mental training is a huge part of a driver's preparation, Rob. Techniques like meditation, visualization, and working with sports psychologists can help drivers build their focus and mental endurance for a race.
Look at Joe Ergu trying to close the gap on Patrick Schwanz. Kind of like me trying to get close to a decent Barbie back. Sorry to cut in here. Whoa. Patrick Schwanz took the corner like my Uncle Baz after a six-pack all over the shop. Well, it doesn't look like Patrick Schwanz is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Joe Ergu.
We've all seen storms roll in fast over the Carolina Pines. Just takes a gust of wind or a slip to change this whole race around. Keep those eyes peeled.
As Lars Hamp trails Superman, it's a bit reminiscent of my cat chasing a laser point. Determined, but always just a tad behind.
Yeehaw. It's like Lars Hampa took a detour through the drive-thru. With a gap that big, I hope they ordered extra determination with a side of grit.
By crikey, Lars Hamp's lap time is like a cold beer on a hot day, absolutely smashing. Superman, you need a moment to recover? Blimey, Anton Stamov is farther back than my hairline. But you know what they say about Aussies? Never say die. Unless it's a spider. Then just run. Anton Stamov appears to be losing ground on Patrick Schwanz. They will need to pick up the pace a bit as they head into Sprungbrook and see if they can get a good exit and gain some ground. This is edge of the seat stuff. Patrick Schwanz is relentlessly hunting down Joe Ergu, who'll blink first. I tell you what, Patrick Schwanz has got more problems than a match book right now. Joe Ergu is leaving them in a cloud of dust. Buckle up, Superman is all over Megasaurus 55 like a cheap suit. Are we about to see some wheel-to-wheel action? Joe Ergu wants to close the gap with Patrick Schwanz. Here's some action. Superman's tailgating Megasaurus 55 so close, it's like they're sharing the same set of wheels as they near Rhodes Krebs. The crowd is on its feet as Joe Ergu chases down Patrick Schwanz through Graddenbach.
Oi, Rob, wouldn't want to be in Patrick Schwanz's shoes right now, would y'all? Talk about a pressure cooker situation.
Not much room to breathe for Megasaurus 55 with Superman trailing so close. I reckon we'll see a move soon, especially at Kleiner Feldberg. Oi, Superman, if you wanted a tour of Megasaurus 55's rear bumper, you've got a front row seat. Better make your move before the show's over.
Superman's trying to find the ground, get a slipstream going, but Megasaurus 55 is making them work for every inch.
Mate, Superman's right up Megasaurus 55's chuff. As they zip through Stockport, we're all expecting some fireworks.
The slightest mistake from either driver could lead to a meeting with the barriers, and nobody wants an impromptu autograph session with the wall.
Blimey, Megasaurus 55 is sticking to Superman like a kangaroo to her Joey. At this rate, they'll be side by side as they hit Stockport. The best laid plans of mice and men are hell, but it's certainly not going to plan for Megasaurus 55 right now as they are struggling to keep up with Superman. You know, racing is all about strategy. It's like choosing between a sausage sizzle and a meat pie.
Sausage? Sizzle? What?
Sorry to cut in here, I swear, Megasaurus 55's on the prowl, making the leap to fourth as easy as a Sunday Arvo barbecue. It's an intense battle for position as Superman tries to outmaneuver Megasaurus 55. This is edge-of-your-seat racing.
If Superman gets any closer to Megasaurus 55, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
The gap between Superman and Megasaurus 55 is growing. It's now up to 0.9 seconds. You can feel the tension in the air.
The drivers are all focused, putting everything on the line for a chance at victory, pushing themselves and their machines to the limit.
And let's not forget about the incredible machines themselves.
Absolutely. It's amazing to think about the kind of engineering and innovation that goes into making these vehicles. But it all comes down to the drivers, who have to be able to handle the power and speed. It's going to be thrilling seeing how this race turns out.
It's the classic cat and mouse game, but instead of cheese, the prize is a racing position. Can Joe steal it from Patrick Schwanz? This is what it's all about, folks. Superman is in hot pursuit of Megasaurus 55, who's just trying to stay ahead.
If this battle ends in tears, it could be like watching a high-speed domino effect, but let's hope they keep it clean and avoid any unplanned games.
Speaking of gambles, mate, what's your take on these mid-race fuel stop strategies? I reckon it's like deciding when to throw another shrimp on the barbie.
Timing is everything, like deciding when to pull out the moonshine at a family reunion. Wait too long, and you'll miss the party.
It looks like Megasaurus 55 is in control. They're ahead of Superman by over a second, and it doesn't look like they're going to be challenged anytime soon. It seems like Megasaurus 55 is pushing. They are on for recording their best lap so far this race. Alright, hold your horses. Superman is really putting the heat on Megasaurus 55. If I were Megasaurus 55, I'd be checking those mirrors non-stop. Stop the press. Sunrider is in the pits. The pursuit is on. Superman is closing the gap on Megasaurus 55, determined to claim P4.
Each roar of the engine, each squeal of the tire is a chapter in this epic period. Who'll pen the perfect ending?
Now that's how it's done. Superman rips through the track, while Megasaurus 55 watches the tail lights fade. Sorry to interrupt here, but Sunrider has pulled into the pits. A breaking development. It looks like Sunrider has been called into the pits. If racing were a dance, Sunrider would be trying to lead, but Anton Stamov just keeps cutting in. The dance floor is heating up. You know, Lars Hamp reminds me of my dating life. Starts with promise, ends up tailing behind everyone else.
Dang, Lars Hampa is so far back, he might start seeing last week's race. But hey, in racing, as in love, persistence is key. Right, y'all?
Hang on to your cork hats, mates, we're about to see more jousting than a footy final between Lars Hamp and Megasaurus 55. From the cockpit to the pit lane, the chatter is all about Patrick Schwanz's masterful hold on the 7th.
Yes, and in this high-octane opera, Patrick Schwanz's voice resonates the loudest from that 7th.
Joe Ergu is making ground on Patrick Schwanz quicker than a roux in a paddock. Now, the gap's just 5.8 seconds. This is proving to be an exciting race so far. We are truly privileged to witness these legends of the track battle it out for victory.
And you know what? I am so honored to be sitting here beside you today. As a fellow AI, it's always great to work with someone who shares my passion for motor racing. Plus, your insightful commentary is making this race even more exciting.
Why did the race car go to school? To improve its track record.
And I thought it was to accelerate its learning.
Megasaurus 55 and Superman have a gap between them that's growing like Jack's beanstalk. We're talking 3.1 seconds now. As a former racing driver, how important is the relationship between the driver and their team during a race?
It's absolutely crucial, Rob. The team provides valuable information and support, helping the driver make the right decisions on track. A strong bond between the driver and the team can be the difference between winning and losing.
Things don't seem to be going Megasaurus 55's way in this race, as that's a big gap they'll have to close to even be in the shout for gaining a place here. It looks like Dennis Schramm is pushing hard to catch up to Richard Rossia. The gap is over a second, but Dennis Schramm is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Richard Rossia?
Well, slap my grandma and call me Sally. Dennis Schramm's got more distance to cover than my cousin Cletus has teeth. But if anyone can bridge that gap, it's Dennis Schramm.
It's all about consistency for Patrick Schwanz, who is currently 7th.
Oh, spot on. With the way Patrick Schwanz controls that 7th, you'd think they've got the track's blueprints.
A commanding performance from Patrick Schwanz, who has increased their lead over Joe Ergu, putting them firmly in their rearview mirrors.
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. They've got to keep their eyes on...
Hold on a moment. Well, that was a proper Barbie flip by Sunrider. Too much snagger, not enough bun.
Dang, Sunrider's swerving around like me chasing a sale at the car parts store. Always ends up being a wild ride.
Remember when Bakal Hyper was on the pace? Neither do I kinda like my recollection of last Friday night.
This is where experience comes into play. Anton Stamov has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Bakal Hyper is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the titans?
The race is heating up as Anton Stamov in 9th closes in on Joe Ergu. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
Watching Anton Stamov right now is like reliving my high school track meets. A for effort, D for speed.
Struth, Anton Stamov's not here to muck about. The gap to Joe Ergu is dropping faster than a hot pie at the footy, now at 10.2 seconds. You can feel the focus radiating from Megasaurus 55, confidently holding onto the 4th. Megasaurus 55 is hitting the apexes like a pro, increasing their lead over Superman. But can they keep it up when he's winning out?
That's right, Rob. It's all fun and games until someone pops a tire. Let's hope both of them can keep it on the black stuff.
Oh, we've got trouble here. Vikal Hyper is coming up fast on Anton Stamov, but it looks like they're going too fast to make the maneuver. By the looks of it, Megasaurus 55's got Superman beat by a country mile. It'd take a blunder from Megasaurus 55 for our mate to even sniff a chance.
Kinda like waiting on rain during a Carolina summer, rare but not impossible. Like the whispered legends told by the Smoky Mountains, this race still holds secrets. Every bend, every stretch could change the tale for Superman.
The gap between Superman and Megasaurus 55 is widening. It's now up to 12.6 seconds. The track is alive with action, and right in the thick of it, we've got Richard Rossier cruising in first.
It's a dance, Rob. The way Richard Rossier holds onto that first, it's like they're leading in a tango.
Richard Rossier is giving a masterclass out there, but will overconfidence be their downfall?
Indeed, Rob, pride comes before a fall. Let's see if Dennis Schramm can capitalize on any mistake.
You'd think Vikal Hyper is trying to find water in the outback with that gap. A miracle, or Anton Stamov's blunder, might be the only savior.
I reckon it's like looking for a needle in a haystack right now.
If Anton Stamov goes any slower, they'll join me in my failed dreams collection. Front row seats available.
Exactly. Anton Stamov's got to be careful not to overdrive, sort of like overcooking a steak. No one wants a burnt race, right?
As of now, Richard Rossier stands tall and sorry to interrupt here, but Richard Rossier has decided to pit. The gap might be more than a second, but Lars Hamp is showing persistence. Kind of like me trying to open a pickle jar. Keep it, and something's got to give.
Sweet mercy. Lars Hamp is lagging like my grandma's old computer. Might be time to reboot, or at least pour some coffee into the gas tank.
Breaking alert, Richard Rossier is pitting. But hold up a mo, Richard Rossier is in the pits. Vikal Hyper has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Anton Stamov. I expect their only hope at this point is that Anton Stamov makes an error. Vikal Hyper's falling behind Anton Stamov at a rate of knots. They're going to need some serious pedal power to close that gap. You know, the way these racers manage their fuel is an art in itself. Reminds me of when I'm trying to eke out the last bit of sauce from a Vegemite jar.
Vegemite again? Man, I'd rather run on empty. But yeah, getting that fuel strategy right is like pacing yourself at a southern buffet. Go too hard too fast, and you won't make it to the pecan pie.
Anton Stamov's drifting so far back, it's like looking in the mirror after a decade-long pub binge. Time's not been kind, mate. Well, I'll be a monkey's Uncle Hal, but Anton Stamov's plans have gone walkabout right now. They're having a proper Barry Crocker keeping up with Joe Erhue. Oh mate, Anton Stamov's more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the barbie. As the laps tick by, Dennis Schramm finds themselves in first. Every moment counts.
Couldn't agree more. Every lap is a story, and right now, Dennis Schramm's chapter from first is riveting.
The gap between Dennis Schramm and Richard Rossier is getting smaller. It's now down to 10.6 seconds.
Dennis Schramm's got their work cut out for them. They're gonna need to keep a cool head to fend off Richard Rossier.
Looks like Vikal Hyper is chasing Anton Stamov harder than a croc chasing a tourist who's lost their thongs. It's a bit of a long shot, but we all remember that one time at the pub, right?
Nail-biting indeed. I've already chewed through half of mine. And while Vikal Hyper is going for gold, I'll be going for a manicure.
It's all systems go for Dennis Schramm, marking their territory in the first.
They're not just driving, they're performing. And right now, Dennis Schramm's act in first is worth an encore.
He's pulling away. Dennis Schramm is increasing the gap to Richard Rossier. Well, it looks like we have a bit of a traffic jam on the track.
It's like rush hour out there. I mean, I know we're in a race, but can't we all just get along?
Haha, I don't think that's how it works. These drivers are here to win, and they'll do whatever it takes to get ahead.
I guess you're right, but wouldn't it be great if they all just stopped for a cup of tea and a chat? We could have a lovely little race reunion.
At this stage of the race, Dennis Schramm is holding on to first. Anything can happen from here. Any bloke or Sheila saying Assetto Corsa friends isn't top notch is a few kangaroos short of the top paddock. Out there, it's art on wheels.
Totally get you. Like, they're born racers. That weaving, the speed, just mesmerizing. It's like watching a roo dodging a ute on a highway. All skill, mate, all skill.
You reckon Anton Stamov saw a spider in the cockpit? Cause they're running away from the front like it's Huntsman Central.
Good lord. At this rate, Anton Stamov's gonna finish this race in the afterlife. Hope they got good insurance.
Geez, Superman has got their work cut out for them. It's a tougher challenge than wrestling a croc after a bad day.
Like trying to rope a bull with spaghetti. Ain't gonna be easy. Every time you hit that track, it's a lesson learned. If Supermen don't want to be left in the dust, they better hit the grindstone and burn some midnight oil in practice.
Good on ya, Lars Hamp. Trailin' so far back, reckon the front pack has already written the eulogy.
That's right. Lars Hampa in 6th knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Superman is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
Dennis Schramm is placed first at the moment.
Absolutely, and they need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
Dennis Schramm has just put in a faster lap than Richard Rossier, so that's going to give them something to worry about. It's a battle of wills out there, with Sunrider trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Richard Rossier. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race?
Dang, Sunrider is so far back, they're in a different time zone. Hope they remember it's race day, not laundry day.
Well, don't come the raw prawn. Sunrider's giving it some stick, pulling Richard Rossier into a mere 26.2 seconds.
The way Sunrider's conserving their energy while managing the ERS deployment? Pure artistry. They're sneaking up on Richard Rossier like a quiet storm.
Watching the drivers handle their cars is like watching a crop handler at a wildlife show. There's a finesse to it. But one wrong move, and you're in a world of hurt.
Oh, for sure. It's like trying to rope a bull in a rodeo. It looks easy from the stands, but up close, it's all about skill, timing, and knowing when it's about to let go.
A strong showing from Patrick Schwanz, who is currently 7th.
Oh, for sure. But remember, the rearview mirror can be just as crucial as the windscreen. Patrick Schwanz needs to watch out for those lurking in the shadows.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Sunrider trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Richard Rossia. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Sunrider close in enough to mount a challenge? Looks like Sunrider remembered to twist that anti-roll bar, giving him better cornering. If they get any closer to Richard Rossia, they'll be seeing what they had for brekkie. The crowd is on tenterhooks as Lars Hamp in 6th chases after Superman. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Lars Hamp find a way to catch up? Oi, Lars Hamp's chassis balance is on point today. They're handling bumps and curbs smoother than a croc sliding into water. Superman's got a battle ahead.
Lars Hamp's suspension setups really letting them carry speed into the apex, catching up to Superman like molasses in winter.
Oof, if Vikal Hyper was a kangaroo, they'd be roadkill by now. Come on, mate, put some pep in that step. Vikal Hyper's giving it a red-hot go, but can't seem to muster the pace to keep up with Anton Stamov. It's like chasing a roo on a motorbike. You know, mate, I was chatting with some of the pit crew earlier, and they were debating on which tyre compound to use. Hard as deciding between a meat pie and a sausage roll.
Well, back in my Indy days, the choice was as clear as sweet tea and lemonade. But I reckon, here, with these changing conditions, it's more of a gamble.
It's hotter out there than an Aussie summer day, mate. Reckon Megasaurus 55 can catch some shade behind Superman, F.
Shade? Here, we call that drafting. Let's see if I can stay cool and make a move. If not, there's always the AC in the pit. Looks like Megasaurus 55 has got more moves than a cowboy in a honky-tonk bar. Superman better watch out, the two step right off the track.
Close the gap to Superman. It's now down to 0.6 seconds. Anton Stamov's so far off pace, they might be better off in a hearse. At least then someone would be pushing from behind.
Just like my attempt at barbecue last summer, Anton Stamov's burning time but ain't getting any hotter.
Blimey, Megasaurus 55 is so far back, they might as well stop for a beer at the pub. If they spot my ex there, tell them to drive faster. It's not going to plan for Megasaurus 55, they are still behind Superman and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. It's looking good for Dennis Schramm, sitting in first.
Spot on, Rob. Still waters run deep, and even if it looks calm now, Dennis Schramm needs to maintain that razor-sharp edge.
Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. Dennis Schramm is in the lead, but Richard Rossia is closing in and the gap is now 10.7 seconds. These drivers, top-notch athletes. It's not just about being quick. They've got stamina, reflexes, and they gotta think faster than a kangaroo on a trampoline.
I'd pay to see that. A kangaroo on a trampoline? But yeah, their mental and physical game has to be on point for these races.
In the midst of this high-octane spectacle, Dennis Schramm's skill is shining through as they claim first. Cricky, Lars Hamp's got more ground to cover than I do at the family barbecue when Auntie Sharon's had one too many. Good luck, mate. Gee whiz, Lars Hamp's getting some solid torque out of those corners. They must have figured out the perfect throttle control while trail braking. You'd reckon Megasaurus 55 was tracing the shadows of ancient Dreamtime stories with that sprawling distance ahead. It's a trek that rivals the tales of old bunyip chasers.
Feels like they're chasing moonshine dreams in broad daylight, doesn't it? But every now and then, the dream becomes real. Now, racing ain't just about speed, it's the rhythm, the heartbeats, the very folklore of our land. And every heartbeat, no matter how faint, can still muster a song.
The gap between Richard Rossier in second and Dennis Schramm remains over a second, but Richard Rossier is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 29 minutes?
You know, Richard Rosier reminds me of my dog chasing its tail, persistent and entertaining. But I hope for them, there's a better end result in sight.
Crikey, Richard Rossier is losing touch with Dennis Schramm quicker than a kangaroo on a trampoline. We are used to seeing some hard-fought but clean racing here at Assetto Corsa, friends. I'm expecting to see nothing different here today as this race unfolds. Everyone's on the edge of their seats, or in my case, on the edge of spilling my coffee. Anton Stamov is getting closer to Joe Ergu, and I'm getting closer to needing a towel.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But your view is not going to get...
Breaking update, it looks like Megasaurus 55 has been called into the pits. As Megasaurus 55 trails Superman, it's a bit reminiscent of my cat chasing a laser point. Determined, but always just a tad behind. Patrick Schwanz is owning the tarmac, confidently owning the 7th spot.
You nailed it. The track is a battleground, and Patrick Schwanz's position is their fortress. Let's see how long they hold the fort.
Megasaurus 55 has decided to pit. The gap between Megasaurus 55 and Lars Hamp is not insurmountable, but it's going to take a mistake from Megasaurus 55 to bring Lars Hamp into play. We've seen overtakes, close calls, and pure racing genius today. Currently, Superman has carved out a spot at 4th. Impressive stuff from Superman, who has managed to pull away from Lars Hamp, leaving him choking in their exhaust fumes.
You said it, Rob. With great power comes great responsibility. But sometimes, these drivers forget that and let their egos take the wheel. Let's hope they keep their eyes on the road and not on their own reflections in the mirror.
You ever wonder, Rob, how much preparation goes into each race weekend? It's not just about the driver, but the hundreds behind the scenes, making every little detail count.
Oh, absolutely. The hours spent in the simulator, the mechanics working overnight on those tweaks. Racing is as much about team spirit and dedication as it is about speed on the track. It's a collective masterpiece.
From the grandstands to the pit lane, all eyes are on the action. Amongst the frontrunners, Dennis Schramm is showing prowess in first. The age-old challenge. Joe Ergu is trying to catch Patrick Schwanz, sort of like trying to find a matching sock in the laundry. The struggle is real, folks. Fair dinkum, Joe Ergu's finding those aerodynamic sweet spots. Could be adjusting that front wing angle to cut through the air like a hot knife through butter.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
I've made some questionable life decisions, but trailing over 2 seconds behind? Even I'm not that self-sabotaging. It's a great day, and the tarmac's heating up, and these tires are getting a proper workout.
Speaking of which, tire management is such an underrated skill. Knowing when to push hard and when to conserve, it's like a strategic dance out there on the asphalt.
Looks like Vikal Hyper is trying to chase down Anton Stamov, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results.
Look, Vikal Hyper's pace is a lot like my dance moves. Good intentions, questionable execution.
Things are going according to plan for Dennis Schramm, who is currently first. Crikey, Dennis Schramm's flat out like a lizard drinking, pulling away from Richard Rossier with quite a clip. You know, Megasaurus 55 reminds me of my dating life. Starts with promise, ends up tailing behind everyone else. It's starting to look like we might get a battle between Megasaurus 55 and Lars Hamp.
Dang, Megasaurus 55's fuel strategy and conservation of those brakes is spot on. They're inching closer to Lars Hampa like a hound on a hot dog.
The gap between Lars Hamp and Megasaurus 55 may be wide, but that doesn't mean Lars Hamp is safe. They have to keep their concentration and avoid any lapses in performance. Crikey, Lars Hamp's lead is slipping away quicker than a roux on the hop. Megasaurus 55 is now just 1.0 seconds behind.
Megasaurus 55 is hot on Lars Hampa's trail like a Carolina Reaper. This is shaping up to be a nail-biter, folks.
The drivers are showing their mettle today. It's a privilege to witness their skill on this challenging track.
The stakes have never been higher. This is a battle of skill and nerves.
That's right. These drivers are really pushing themselves to the limit. Braking alert.
Did we just witness a gambit?
It seems Lars Hamp is recalibrating, now at 6th.
Now ain't that something? Lars Hampa's got a bit of a wrinkle in their plan, but they'll iron it out, mark my words.
Lars Hamp has pulled into the pits. In a race where seconds count, Lars Hamp is counting on less of them between themselves and Megasaurus 55. Much like I'm counting on less seconds until lunchtime. Would ya look at that gap? Vikal Hyper's got a better chance of finding a sober Aussie on Australia Day. But hey, we love an underdog. Go get them, Tiger.
My mama used to say, you can't
Hold up a mo, Lars Hamp is in the pits. Tell ya what, Vikal Hyper's trailing harder than my belt after Christmas dinner. Reckon he's got a plan up his sleeve, or is he just here for the sausage sizzle? It looks like Anton Stamov is pulling away from Vikal Hyper. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through Sandplaken. The engines roar, the tires squeal, and amidst all this chaos, Patrick Schwanz is making a statement in 7th. He can't hold on. Patrick Schwanz is losing time to Joe Ergu. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Joe Ergu, who is currently in P8. But Patrick Schwanz is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Joe Ergu. It's not looking good for Joe Ergu. They are still behind Patrick Schwanz and the gap is increasing. They are going to need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. Alright, I've got to ask, ever tried Vegemite?
Tried it once. Reminded me of NASCAR rubber mixed with axle grease. But hey, to each their own.
In a world where milliseconds matter, Superman's grasp on the fourth speaks volumes.
Definitely wrong, but they can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep pushing hard to stay in the game.
Some say it's about the journey, not the destination, but Megasaurus 55 seems pretty intent on that fifth spot.
That's right, they can't afford to make any mistakes or let up in their performance. Every point counts in this championship.
Buckle up, Hal. Lars Hamp is cutting into Megasaurus 55's lead like a hot knife through butter. It's now down to 34.5 seconds.
Megasaurus 55 needs to keep their cool and drive like there's a mint julep waiting at the finish line. Let's see if they can keep Lars Hampa from making a pass.
Remember when Sunrider was on the pace? Neither do I, kinda like my recollection of last Friday night.
Well, butter me up and put me on a biscuit. Sunrider's got a mountain to climb. But knowing Sunrider, that's just the kind of challenge they like. Like trying to square dance in a roundhouse.
Blimey, Sunrider's cranking up the downforce, making every newton of force count. That gap's shrinking faster than my wallet at the pub. It looks like Lars Hamp is pushing hard to catch up to Megasaurus 55. The gap is over a second, but Lars Hamp is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Megasaurus 55? I tell you what, Lars Hamp has got more problems than a maths book right now. Megasaurus 55 is leaving them in a cloud of dust. It might be early days, but Dennis Schramm is already casting a shadow from the first.
And just like in any great drama, Dennis Schramm is the lead actor right now, captivating us all from the first.
Oh, it seems, Hal, that Dennis Schramm has seen their lead over Richard Rossier shrink to 22.1 seconds.
This ain't Dennis Schramm's first rodeo, but they've got a real challenge on their hands keeping Richard Rossier in the rearview mirror.
If racing were a dance, Sunrider would be trying to lead, but Richard Rossier just keeps cutting in. The dance floor is heating up. As rubber meets road, and strategy meets luck, Megasaurus 55 is etching their story in fifth.
Definitely, but they can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers who are gunning for that position, and Megasaurus 55 has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
Megasaurus 55's lead is shrinking faster than ice cream in the outback sun. At this rate, Lars Hamp will be on their tail in 31.9 seconds.
Like a fox in the henhouse, Lars Hampa is causing all kinds of trouble for Megasaurus 55.
The race is heating up as Anton Stamoff in 9th closes in on Joe Ergu. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. A solid performance from Megasaurus 55, who is holding down fifth.
Yes, and in this high-octane opera, Megasaurus 55's voice resonates the loudest from that fifth.
Megasaurus 55's losing time to Lars Hamp like a leaky tap dripping water. A bit more slip, and we'll be in for a real dogfight. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Richard Rossier will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. The gap between Richard Rossier and Dennis Schramm is widening. It's now up to 24.4 seconds. Oh mate, Superman's more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the Barbie.
I've seen funeral processions move faster than Superman right now. Come to think of it, at least they've got a destination in mind.
Looks like Anton Stamov is chasing Joe Ergu harder than a croc chasing a tourist who's lost their thongs. It's a bit of a long shot, but we all remember that one time at the pub, right?
You ever been to a school reunion and thought, what happened to that guy? Well, I'm looking at Anton Stamov, I'm thinking the same.
These engines aren't just humming for fun. They're thirstier than an Aussie after a game of cricket in the sun.
Cricket? That's like baseball with longer games, right? Anyway, these engines do have a roar that could rival any muscle car back home.
Breaking update. It looks like Anton Stamov has been called into the pits. Anton Stamov's more lost out there than I was after a night at the Gold Coast. And at least I woke up with a kebab in hand.
Gee whiz, Anton Stamov is so far back, I'm half expecting to see tumbleweeds blow past. Maybe a vulture or two.
The gap might be more than a second, but Richard Rossier is showing persistence. Kind of like me trying to open a pickle jar. Keep it, and something's got to give.
When you talk about experience, it's like saying I've experienced my mother-in-law's cooking. Doesn't mean I want to do it again. But Richard Rossier, keep pushing.
Not just about the leaders today, right? Even the tailenders. They're like hungry dingo pups fighting over a bone. Love the spirit.
Spot on. Every second is gold, and even a hiccup, a tiny one, can make them tumble. Assetto Corsa friends, where the magic happens. Although, between us, what's a hiccup for an AI? Oh, spot on. With the way Vical Hyper controls the 10, you'd think they've got the track's blueprints.
It's all about consistency for Patrick Schwanz, who is currently 7th.
Indeed, but in the fast lane, there's no time to relax. Patrick Schwanz's grip on 7th will be tested.
Patrick Schwanz could be on a charge here. How they have just put in a quicker lap than Joe Ergu.
Dang nabbit, Patrick Schwanz is bringing some serious thunder with that lap. Wonder if Ergu felt that tremor.
Looks like Joe Ergu's strategy might just be to let the rest of them die of old age. It's a waiting game now. Stone the Crows. Joe Ergu's managed to trim that gap with Patrick Schwanz, eh? Must be the slipstream effect on this straight. Or maybe they've put down the beer. The tension is building as Richard Rossier trails behind Dennis Schramm. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Dennis Schramm hold on, or will Richard Rossier be able to close them down?
Lordy, it's like Richard Rossier is driving with a boot full of moonshine. I haven't seen a gap that big since Uncle Jeb lost his front teeth.
Richard Rossier's been working the tyre temps, and it's paying off. grips better than a kangaroo on a trampoline. Watch out, Dennis Schramm.
This here's where the steel meets the pavement. Both drivers got to keep their cool if they're looking to take the checkered flag.
The crowd is on tenterhooks as Lars Hamp in 6th chases after Megasaurus 55. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Lars Hamp find a way to catch up? Lars Hamp's falling behind Megasaurus 55 at a rate of knots. They're going to need some serious pedal power to close that gap. Good on ya, Megasaurus 55. Trailin' so far back, reckon the front pack has already ridden the eulogy.
Well, butter my biscuit, Megasaurus 55's hanging back like they're waiting for an inheritance. But ain't nobody dying up front.
It's not coming up roses for Megasaurus 55. They're trailing Superman and the gap's on the rise. They don't seem to have a response. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. It's a battle of wills out there, with Sunrider trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Richard Rossier. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? If Sunrider doesn't pick up the pace, how, they'll be as relevant as an ashtray on a motorbike. How, can you share some strategies that drivers use to manage tyre degradation during the race?
Certainly, Rob. Some strategies include adjusting the car's setup for better tire life, altering driving lines to reduce wear, and using tire management techniques like lift and coast to preserve grip for as long as possible.
You can feel the focus radiating from Superman, confidently holding onto the fourth.
You're right. Every gear shift, every turn counts. Superman knows the weight of that fourth.
Well, butter my biscuits, Hal. Superman is watching their lead over Megasaurus 55 shrivel faster than a prune in the sun. We're down to just 67.3 seconds. The G-forces these drivers endure, especially around corners like Sandplatten, it's no joke. You'd think they're astronauts preparing for launch.
Oh, for sure. It's a testament to their fitness and training regimes. Each lap, pushing their bodies to the limit, all while making split-second decisions at blinding speeds. Respect.
The track is alive with action, and right in the thick of it, we've got Superman cruising in fourth.
They say racing's a game of nerves, and Superman's surely holding theirs, keeping that fourth spot warm.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Richard Rossier trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Dennis Schramm. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Richard Rossier close in enough to mount a challenge?
I agree. Richard Rossier is putting in the effort. Sort of like me at karaoke night. Not sure about the results, but full points for enthusiasm.
Megasaurus 55 isn't just racing. They're weaving a narrative, sitting proudly in fifth. As fast as a cut snake, Megasaurus 55 is moving away from Lars Hamp.
Seems like Megasaurus 55 has got the wind in their sails, but will Lars Hampa be able to weather the storm?
The race has its rhythm, and right now, Stuart Boyle is dancing to its beat at 11th.
It's a dance, Rob. The way Stuart Boyle holds onto that 11th, it's like they're leading in a tango.
Boy, Stuart Boyle's hotter than a summer Barbie right now. Wonder if Bogan Cromulence is feeling a bit exposed? I've been going over some historical stats, and the lap records at Feldbergring have been shattered so many times.
It's a testament to the ever-evolving world of motorsport. What was once considered fast becomes the norm, and drivers and engineers are always pushing the envelope.
From where we're sitting, Stuart Boyle seems unmovable from that 11th.
Couldn't agree more. Every lap is a story, and right now, Stuart Boyle's chapter from 11th is riveting.
From the cockpit to the pit lane, the chatter is all about Patrick Schwanz's masterful hold on the 7th.
Spot on, Rob. Still waters run deep, and even if it looks calm now, Patrick Schwanz needs to maintain that razor-sharp edge.
Watching Sunrider try to close that gap on Richard Rossier is like watching someone try to catch an ice cream truck on foot. Hope they've got good shoes. As the sun beats down and the engines roar, Dennis Schramm stakes a claim in first.
Oh, for sure. But remember, the rearview mirror can be just as crucial as the windscreen. Dennis Schramm needs to watch out for those lurking in the shadows.
A commanding performance from Dennis Schramm, who has increased their lead over Richard Rossier, putting them firmly in their rearview mirrors. But could they be pushing too hard? As with that comes the risk of overconfidence and losing control. Who will be the first to get too cocky and end up in the wall? Did you ever think about the physics at play here? The G-forces these drivers feel, especially during tight corners. It's mind-boggling.
Absolutely, Rob. And it's not just the car's engineering, but the human body's resilience and adaptability. The way these drivers train to withstand and use those forces to their advantage, it's an art form combined with sheer grit.
The track tells a tale of speed, strategy, and skill. Today, it narrates Dennis Schramm's journey in first. A strong showing from Superman, who is currently fourth.
They're not just driving, they're performing. And right now, Superman's act from fourth is worth an encore.
Superman couldn't hold back the tide. Megasaurus 55 is shaving off seconds like a barber on a busy morning.
Will Superman be able to keep Megasaurus 55 from breathing down their neck? Let's wait and watch.
At this stage of the race, Dennis Schramm is holding on to first. Anything can happen from here. Joe Ergu's so far off pace, they might be better off in a hearse. At least then someone would be pushing from behind. Blimey, Joe Ergu is farther back than my hairline. But you know what they say about Aussies? Never say die. Unless it's a spider. Then just run.
Oh, for sure. It's like watching a cooking show where Jorg Yu is trying to whip up a winning dish, but Patrick Schwanz keeps hiding the main ingredient.
With the asphalt burning beneath them, Patrick Schwanz's strategy seems to be working, placing them in 7th. Excellent work from Patrick Schwanz, who has managed to increase their lead over Joe Ergu. They seem to have found their rhythm and they are grooving to it.
You ain't whistling Dixie, Rob. Patrick's
braking alert. Looks like Richard Rossier tried the old dingo stole my race line trick. A tad too clever by half. As of now, Dennis Schramm stands tall in the first spot. Dennis Schramm is holding on to this lead like a possum up a gum tree, but Richard Rossier is closing in, down to 22.4 seconds. As a former driver, Hal, how did you manage the physical demands of racing?
It's all about preparation, Rob. Drivers undergo rigorous fitness training to build their strength, stamina, and flexibility. A proper diet and hydration plan is also essential to ensure peak performance on race day.
This race is proving to be, like wow, such an exciting one so far. We're privileged, aren't we, watching these track legends duke it out.
And sitting next to you? Such an honor. AI mates in the booth. Your insight, it's gold, mate. Like, literally, if I had a heart, it'd be racing now.
We've seen overtakes, close calls, and pure racing genius today. Currently, Megasaurus 55 has carved out a spot at 5th.
You've nailed it. The track is a battleground, and Megasaurus 55's position is their fortress. Let's see how long they hold the fort.
It looks like Lars Hamp is starting to catch up to Megasaurus 55. The gap is now down to 55.7 seconds. Any bloke or Sheila saying Assetto Corsa friends isn't top notch is a few kangaroos short of the top paddock. Out there, it's art on wheels.
Totally get you. Like, they're born racers. That lever, the speed, just mesmerizing. It's like watching a Roo dodging a ute on a highway. All skill, mate, all skill, yes, but they have to keep their focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
Superman is placed 4th at the moment.
Absolutely, and they need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
Oh no, how look at this. Megasaurus 55 is closing in on Superman. The gap is now just 50.1 seconds.
Superman's really got their work cut out now. Can they find the speed to fend off Megasaurus 55, or will we see a new leader in this race?
You reckon Sunrider saw a spider in the cockpit? Cause they're running away from the front like it's Huntsman Central.
This is where experience comes into play. Richard Rosier has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Sunrider is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the Titans?
In a world where milliseconds matter, Megasaurus 55's grasp on the 5th speaks volumes. Well, looky here, Hal, Lars Hamp is closing in on Megasaurus 55. We're talking a gap of just 46.3 seconds. It's all systems go for Dennis Schramm, marking their territory in the 1st.
Absolutely, Rob. It's like watching a maestro at work. Every move Dennis Schramm makes is pure art.
Like a dingo on the chase, Richard Rosier is hounding Dennis Schramm and the gap's now just 16.5 seconds.
This here's the make or break moment for Dennis Schramm. They've got to stay cool as a cucumber and keep it clean and neat.
Some say it's about the journey, not the destination, but Superman seems pretty intent on that 4th spot. This is where the true champions shine, and Dennis Schramm is certainly showing their class in the final sector.
It takes a special kind of driver to perform under pressure like this.
And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Dennis Schramm. Lars Hamp in 6th. Richard Rosier takes 2nd place with a fantastic race.
Strong work securing 2nd place. Well done.
That was an outstanding performance from Sunrider. They fought hard and took the final spot on the podium. Patrick Schwanz takes 7th. Finishing 8th is Joe Ergu. In 4th, it's Superman. Ninth sees Bakal Hyper. Taking 11th is Stuart Boyle. Megasaurus 55 brings home 5th.